Ethan's spaceship floated silently above the sparkling blue and green surface of Xeria, a planet far from Earth. He had spent weeks studying reports about this world, hoping to learn more about its rare alien civilization. Humans were rare visitors here, and the native Xerians were cautious and proud. Ethan knew he had to be careful, but curiosity always won over caution. The planet below shimmered with tall crystalline towers that reflected the twin suns. Rivers of luminous liquid cut through vast green plains. From the ship's small observation window, Ethan could see movement along the palace grounds, where creatures unlike any he had studied walked gracefully, their skin glinting with metallic hues. "Looks peaceful from here," he whispered to himself, gripping the edge of the console. His eyes scanned the city, and then suddenly his gaze fell on her. She stood in the royal gardens, a figure of elegance and authority. Her hair glowed softly in the light, and her eyes were like deep pools, reflecting both wisdom and curiosity. She moved with confidence, yet her presence had a warmth that drew attention. Ethan immediately knew that this was Liara, the alien princess. Stories about her bravery and intelligence had circulated even in the distant corners of the galaxy. But seeing her in person was different, much more powerful. Ethan's heart beat faster. He tried to steady his thoughts. He was a trained explorer, trained to handle danger calmly, but there was something about her that made him forget himself. He adjusted the controls of his observation panel to zoom in, trying to remain unseen. Then, without warning, a sharp alarm echoed from the palace's energy shield. Ethan frowned. The readings indicated a sudden malfunction. Energy pulses flickered dangerously, and the protective barrier around the palace shimmered like a fragile glass dome. The people inside scattered, moving quickly to safety. Ethan's instincts kicked in. He couldn't just watch. He had studied alien energy systems, and though he was far from an expert on Xerian tech, he knew he could try to help. Carefully, he maneuvered his small exploration shuttle closer to the palace grounds. Inside the gardens, Liara was trying to guide a group of young attendants away from danger, but one of the crystalline platforms beneath her foot began to crack. A soft hum grew louder as the energy shield faltered. Without thinking, Ethan activated the shuttle's external stabilization beam, which sent a focused energy pulse toward the failing platform. Sparks flew, and the platform stopped its downward motion just in time. Liara froze, her eyes wide, and for a moment Ethan worried he had done something wrong. But then she stepped carefully to safety. Her gaze locked on him. "You helped me," she said, her voice calm but firm. Ethan could hear the surprise in it. I just wanted to make sure you were safe," Ethan said, keeping his hand slightly raised to show he meant no harm. Liara studied him for a moment. She was used to people trying to impress her, but there was something different about this human. His calm under pressure, his clear focus, and the way he risked himself without thinking of glory. It was unusual. The alarm ended, and the energy shield stabilized. The attendants hurried past, chattering quietly among themselves. Liara finally spoke again, her tone softer now. "You are not like the others," she said. "Most outsiders would have fled or made the situation worse, but you acted." Ethan swallowed, unsure if he should respond. I just try to do what's right," he said. His voice was low, almost a whisper, but it carried sincerity. Liara tilted her head slightly, examining him. There was a quiet curiosity in her expression. Ethan could feel her gaze piercing through him, not judging but understanding. The moment passed, and Ethan took a step back, giving her space. But his heart raced. He had studied alien cultures for years, yet he had never expected to meet someone like Liara, not so close, not so real. As the attendants led her back toward the palace, Ethan stayed near the edge of the gardens, watching. He knew he should leave and let her world remain untouched by human interference. But he couldn't tear his eyes away. Suddenly, Liara stopped and looked directly at him. For a long second, the two of them just stared. Ethan felt a strange warmth in his chest, a connection he couldn't explain. He opened his mouth to speak, but nothing came out. Then, almost instinctively, he whispered, barely audible over the soft wind. "I wish I could marry her." He didn't expect her to hear him. After all, she was far away, and he spoke so softly. But Liara's eyes widened slightly, and she turned slowly, a small, mysterious smile forming on her lips. Ethan froze. Could she have heard him? Before he could react, a loud commotion broke out nearby. A young attendant had tripped over a glowing root in the garden, and the other children panicked. Liara immediately moved to help, leaving Ethan to watch, his mind spinning. The brief moment of connection had vanished, replaced by urgency, but the memory of her smile stayed with him. Ethan knew he had to return to his shuttle. He reluctantly turned away, feeling both excitement and anxiety. Liara had acknowledged him somehow. Her smile, small as it was, felt like an invitation to something greater than he could imagine. As he navigated the shuttle back to a safe distance, he reviewed his recordings. Every movement, every reaction of the princess he noted carefully. There was intelligence, kindness, and a quiet strength in her actions that humans rarely saw. He felt inspired. Humanity's courage and empathy had always been important to him, and now he saw how powerful those qualities could be across the galaxy. Night fell on Ziria, and the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long, shimmering shadows over the crystalline towers. The palace gardens glowed softly under the bioluminescent flora. Ethan watched from a distance, his thoughts full of Liara and her world. "I have to learn more," he whispered to himself. "Not just for me, but for her people, and maybe for her." In that quiet moment, Ethan made a silent promise. He would prove himself worthy, not through force or wealth, but through courage, honor, and compassion. If the universe allowed, he would find a way to show Liara that humans were capable of love, loyalty, and greatness. Unknown to him, Liara stood on the palace balcony, looking toward where the shuttle had disappeared. Her mind was not on her royal duties or the expectations of her people. She was thinking about the human who had risked everything to help her, who had acted without fear or selfish motives. A small thought crossed her mind, something she had never allowed herself before. Could he be different? Could he truly understand me? Her eyes softened as she whispered quietly to herself, "We shall see." The first encounter had ended, but neither Ethan nor Liara would forget it. Across the distance, two very different worlds had met. One was human, full of curiosity, courage, and the unknown. The other was alien, full of wisdom, beauty, and secrets. And now a small spark had ignited, a spark that would grow, challenging traditions, crossing boundaries, and perhaps changing both of their worlds forever. As Ethan prepared for sleep aboard his shuttle, he stared at the stars and the glowing planet below. His thoughts wandered to Liara, her eyes, her smile, and the strange sense of hope he felt. He knew this was only the beginning. Adventure awaited, challenges would come, and danger would test him. But he also knew that something rare and extraordinary had started here, in this quiet garden under alien suns, and somewhere, under the same glowing sky, Liara smiled again, thinking of the human who had whispered words that could change everything. The next morning, Ethan awoke in his small shuttle cabin, sunlight streaming through the transparent panels. Even after hours of sleep, his mind refused to rest. He replayed the events of the previous day again and again. The broken platform, Liara's calm authority, and most vividly, her smile. He knew one thing. He had to learn more about her world, not just as an explorer, but as someone who wanted to understand her. As he prepared his equipment to explore nearby regions, a soft pulse ran through his communicator. It was a signal from the palace, something he hadn't expected. A holographic message flickered into life before him, showing Liara's face. "Ethan," she said clearly, her voice calm but commanding. "I wish to meet you again. Come to the Eastern Gardens at sunset." Ethan's heart jumped. This was not an official invitation. It was personal. He quickly prepared, checking his shuttle and making sure everything was secure. As he descended toward the palace grounds, he wondered what she wanted from him. When he arrived, the Eastern Gardens stretched wide before him, glowing with alien flora that pulsed in rhythm with the planet's energy. Liara waited at the center, her presence commanding yet gentle. Around her, the air shimmered softly, a sign of the alien energy field that she controlled. "You came," she said, a small smile tugging at her lips. "Good, I have a few tests for you." Ethan raised his eyebrows. "Tests?" he asked. "I'm not sure I'm qualified for—" Liara raised her hand, cutting him off. "Not tests of skill or strength, human. Tests of character." Ethan nodded, understanding. In this world, courage alone would not win trust. Actions, choices, and empathy mattered more. The first test was simple yet revealing. Liara guided him to a grove filled with small, luminous creatures that glowed like fireflies. They moved in patterns that resembled musical notes in the air. "These creatures are delicate," Liara explained. They respond to thought and emotion. You must guide them safely from this grove to the palace's energy field. Do it carefully. One mistake could hurt them. Ethan crouched down, observing the creatures. He extended his hands, focusing on calmness. Slowly, the tiny beings responded, floating toward him, responding to the gentle thoughts he sent. He moved carefully, guiding them along a safe path while keeping his emotions steady. Liara watched quietly. She noticed the patience in his eyes, the care in every gesture. Most outsiders would have rushed or panicked. Ethan moved deliberately, aware of the responsibility he carried, not for glory, but because it was the right thing to do. When the creatures reached safety, Liara stepped forward. "You succeeded," she said. "Many would have failed at this test because they lacked respect or thought only of themselves." Ethan exhaled, feeling a quiet sense of pride. "I just tried to be careful," he said. "And that is why you passed," Liara replied. Her eyes lingered on him for a moment longer than necessary, as if she was searching his mind for something only humans possessed. The second test was more challenging. Liara led him to a chamber deep within the gardens, filled with holographic projections of her people in simulated danger scenarios. Fires, collapsing platforms, and sudden floods appeared in holographic form, each threatening the lives of simulated Xerian citizens. "You must guide them to safety," Liara instructed, "but you cannot touch them directly. Use only your intelligence and empathy to find the right solutions." Ethan moved quickly, analyzing each scenario. He directed holographic barriers to stabilize collapsing floors, redirected virtual energy flows to prevent floods, and coordinated the simulated citizens to safe zones. Each solution required thinking several steps ahead, anticipating the needs of those in danger. Liara observed in silence, impressed by his ability to adapt. Most humans relied on physical strength, but Ethan relied on strategy and understanding, a combination rare even among her own people. "You are unlike any outsider I have known," she said when he finished. "You do not act for recognition or reward. You act because it is the right thing to do." The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky in soft purple and orange. Ethan felt a sense of relief and exhaustion. "I'm glad I could do it," he said. Liara's gaze softened. "You have potential," she said quietly, almost to herself. Then louder she added, "But there is one final test today, and it will be the hardest." Before Ethan could respond, the ground beneath them trembled slightly. A low growling hum vibrated through the air. From the shadows of the gardens emerged a creature unlike any Ethan had seen. Tall, sinewy, with limbs that bent at impossible angles, and eyes glowing a bright amber. Its roar echoed, shaking the leaves of nearby plants. Liara's expression changed, and Ethan realized this was not a test of intellect, but a test of courage. The creature advanced, moving quickly, yet its eyes seemed intelligent, almost curious. "Do not run," Liara commanded. "Show respect and you may survive." Ethan swallowed. His body tensed, but he remembered what he had learned. Courage was not the absence of fear, but action in spite of it. He stood his ground. Slowly he raised his hands, keeping his voice calm and firm. "We mean no harm," he said, speaking instinctively, not sure if the creature could understand him. The creature paused, tilting its head. Ethan noticed small gestures in its posture, subtle signs of recognition. Slowly he took another step forward, eyes never leaving the creature's glowing amber ones. He offered a gentle motion, showing he intended peace. Liara stepped beside him, her presence calm and reassuring. Together they projected a sense of mutual understanding. The creature blinked, then slowly lowered its limbs and stepped back, watching them with cautious curiosity. Ethan exhaled, relief flooding him. I think it's okay now," he whispered. Liara nodded. "You have passed the final test," she said. Her smile was faint but full of meaning. "You have shown courage, intelligence, and empathy, qualities that are rare even among my own people." Ethan felt a surge of pride and disbelief. He had come to this planet as a visitor, but now he realized he was being seen as more than that. He was being recognized for who he truly was. The stars began to appear in the twin skies, their light reflecting off the crystalline towers and the glowing gardens. Liara gestured for Ethan to follow her to a quiet terrace overlooking the city. "This is where I usually come to think," she said, her voice soft, "but today I wanted to share it with you." Ethan stepped beside her, feeling a strange sense of calm. The lights of the city below sparkled, and he could see Xerians moving about their evening routines. The beauty of the planet combined with Liara's presence made him feel both small and extraordinary at the same time. "I don't know what to say," Ethan admitted. "This place, your world, it's incredible, and I'm honored you included me." Liara looked at him, her eyes reflecting the glow of the city. "It is not inclusion I offer lightly," she said. "Most outsiders could not survive what you have faced today, and few would show the qualities you have." Ethan hesitated, then spoke softly, almost a whisper. "I wish I could stay here with you, not just as a visitor, but more." Liara's expression changed subtly, a mix of surprise and curiosity. She had heard humans speak of love before, but rarely with such honesty, humility, and courage. She stepped closer, the alien energy around her pulsing gently, almost as if responding to his words. "You speak boldly, human," she said. "Few dare to voice such desires, especially after only a single day together." Ethan met her gaze, unwavering. "I don't know the customs here or the rules, but I know what I feel, and I know I want to be someone who can protect your world. And you?" Liara's gaze softened. She could see the truth in his eyes, the sincerity, the courage, the empathy that had guided him through the tests. A small smile formed. "Then perhaps," she said quietly, "we shall see what tomorrow brings." Ethan nodded, feeling hope rise in his chest. He didn't know what the future held, but he knew one thing. This was only the beginning of something extraordinary. Something that could change both their worlds. As the twin moons rose over the horizon, Ethan returned to his shuttle with a sense of purpose he had never felt before. He had survived the tests, earned the respect of the alien princess, and glimpsed the possibility of a connection that transcended worlds. And somewhere, under the same sky, Liara watched him go, thinking quietly to herself, "This human. He may be the first to understand something even I have never fully understood. The power of courage, compassion, and love." The evening ended with both of them looking toward the future, separate yet connected, their thoughts entwined across the glowing gardens of Xeria. The next morning, Ethan awoke with a sense of anticipation. His mind replayed the events of the previous day, the tests, the creature, and most of all, Liara's smile. He had faced challenges he never imagined, but nothing compared to the feeling of standing near her, being seen for who he truly was. He prepared his shuttle, but this time he felt a new determination. He wanted to understand more about Liara, her people, and the delicate balance of her world. When he arrived at the palace grounds, he found Liara waiting for him in the central gardens. The light from the twin suns illuminated her hair and eyes, giving her an ethereal glow. "Good morning, Ethan," she said, her voice calm but with a faint warmth. "Today we will speak not of tests but of truth." Ethan nodded, his heart racing. "Truth?" he asked. "Yes," Liara said, leading him to a terrace overlooking the palace city. "The challenges you have faced revealed your courage, your intelligence, and your empathy. But the truth we speak of today concerns your feelings, your choices, and what you are willing to risk for what you believe in." Ethan swallowed. His emotions were tangled, but he knew what he wanted. He had come to admire Liara not because of her royalty or her power, but for the strength, intelligence, and kindness she embodied. He had never imagined a bond like this could exist. Yet here it was, fragile but undeniable. Liara studied him as they walked. "Most humans I have met see only the surface," she said. "They look for opportunity, not understanding. But you see deeper. You see the people, not just their roles. You see the world, not just what it can give you." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. I care about your people and about you," he said, his voice steady despite the storm of emotions inside him. "I want to help, to protect, and I want to be someone you can trust." Liara stopped and turned to face him. Her eyes were like pools, calm but filled with curiosity. "You speak honestly, human," she said. "Do you understand the consequences? To be close to me, to love me, it is not easy. My people may resist, the galaxy may question, and even your own world may not understand." "I know," Ethan replied. "I don't care about the challenges. I only know what I feel. I want to do what is right, and I want to be with you if you will have me." Liara regarded him quietly for a moment. She could see the sincerity in his eyes, the honesty of his heart. Few humans ever dared to speak so openly, especially to someone of her status. His words were not of flattery or ambition. They were pure, humble, and brave. "I will give you one more trial," she said softly, almost as if speaking to herself. "One last act to prove your heart." She led him to the edge of the city, where a small village of Xerian citizens lived. A sudden alert flared. A section of the village energy field was failing. Without hesitation, Ethan ran forward, his mind calculating the best way to stabilize the system. He moved quickly, directing villagers to safety while adjusting the energy field controls. Sparks flew and a low hum of energy filled the air as he worked tirelessly. Liara followed, observing from a distance, noting how he treated the villagers with patience, respect, and calm authority. Hours passed, but Ethan never wavered. He moved with care, ensuring no one was hurt. The villagers watched, confused at first by this human stranger, but gradually their fear turned into admiration. Finally, the energy field stabilized. The villagers cheered softly, and Ethan looked up to see Liara standing a short distance away. She approached him, her expression a mixture of pride and contemplation. "You did more than survive this trial," she said. "You acted with courage, intelligence, and empathy. You proved your heart." Ethan felt relief and pride, but also a strange nervousness. He had faced physical danger, mental challenges, and even life-threatening situations. But now the challenge was different. It was about something deeper, something personal. "Liara," he began, his voice low but steady. "I've come to care about you more than I ever imagined. I admire you for who you are, not just as a princess, but as a person. I wish to be someone who stands by your side, who protects and supports you. Not for glory, but because I truly care." Liara's eyes softened. For a moment, neither spoke. The air around them seemed to shimmer with quiet energy. The twin suns dipped lower, casting long shadows across the village and gardens. "You speak with a courage I rarely see," she said. "Few have dared to express their hearts honestly. And yet, it is not just bravery I see in you. It is understanding, respect, and patience, qualities that are rare even among my own people." Ethan took a step closer, feeling the weight of the moment. "I don't ask for your answer now," he said gently. "I only ask that you see my intentions and know that they are true." Liara studied him, her mind racing. She had met humans before, but none had shown such a combination of courage and compassion. Most were motivated by ambition, curiosity, or fear. Ethan's actions, words, and choices revealed a rare purity of heart. After a long pause, Liara stepped forward and placed a hand lightly on his arm. The contact was gentle, yet it sent a warmth through Ethan's body that he had never felt before. "You have shown me much, human," she said softly. "Your heart is clear. Your intentions are honest. And your courage, unmatched. I will not deny the connection I feel, nor the bond that has begun between us." Ethan's heart raced, but he remained calm, letting her words sink in. "Liara, do you mean—" She nodded, a small radiant smile forming on her lips. "Yes," she whispered. "We shall see where this bond takes us. But know this, it will not be easy. The galaxy will challenge us, my people may doubt, and the path ahead is uncertain. Yet, if your heart remains true, we can face it together." Ethan felt a surge of joy and relief. For months he had journeyed through space, faced danger, and explored unknown worlds. But nothing compared to this moment, this recognition, this acceptance from someone he deeply admired. "I will do whatever it takes," he said firmly. "Not for duty, not for reward, but because I care. Because I want to be with you and I want to help your people thrive." Liara's smile grew. She could feel the sincerity in every word, every gesture, every breath. "Then we begin a new chapter," she said. "Together." The twin moons rose over the horizon, casting soft light across the crystalline towers and the glowing gardens. Ethan and Liara stood side by side, looking out over the city. The air was filled with quiet energy, a promise of challenges to come, but also hope and possibility. This is just the beginning, isn't it?" Ethan asked softly, almost to himself. Liara turned to him, her eyes bright. "Yes," she said. "The beginning of something extraordinary, something that may change both our worlds forever." Ethan nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. The tests were over, the trials had been faced, and a bond had formed that transcended species, planets, and expectations. Humanity had shown its courage, empathy, and unique ability to connect, qualities that even a galaxy of advanced civilizations could respect. As night fully descended over Xeria, Ethan knew that his journey was far from over. There would be challenges, doubts, and dangers ahead. But he also knew something else. With Liara by his side, and with the truth of his heart guiding him, there was nothing he could not face, and somewhere, under the same glowing sky, Liara watched him, thinking quietly to herself, "This human, he may be the first to show me the strength of connection, courage, and love in a way I have never known." The stars sparkled above them, twin moons casting light on a path that neither fully understood, yet both were willing to follow. And in that quiet, shimmering night, a human and an alien princess stood together, bound by respect, trust, and the beginnings of a rare and extraordinary bond. The next morning, Ethan woke to a calm light streaming into his shuttle. For the first time, he felt a quiet sense of certainty. Liara had accepted the sincerity of his heart, and their bond was no longer a question. Yet he knew that being close to her meant more than just words. Actions mattered. Trust had to be earned continually, and the world around them would not simply allow happiness to flourish without challenge. Ethan's mind was alive with possibilities. He spent the day preparing supplies and planning his next exploration, but his thoughts always returned to Liara. He wondered how he could be useful to her people, how he could help her world grow stronger, and how he could show that his feelings were genuine and lasting. At sunset, he returned to the palace gardens. Liara awaited him at the central terrace, the air around her shimmering faintly in rhythm with her heartbeat, or so it seemed to Ethan. She smiled at him, radiant and composed, yet there was a subtle tension in her posture. He sensed she was thinking deeply about the challenges that lay ahead. "Ethan," she said softly, her voice carrying both warmth and gravity, "our bond has begun, but there is one truth we must face together. My people are watching. They respect courage and intelligence, but they are cautious of outsiders. You have shown bravery, yet they may not easily accept a human by my side." Ethan nodded, understanding the weight of her words. "I know. I'm not here to take anything from your people. I only want to help, to support, and to be worthy of your trust. I will face whatever challenges come if it means being here with you." Liara regarded him thoughtfully. "Very well," she said. "Then we begin by facing the first challenge together. You will join me in a council gathering this evening. I will introduce you as my chosen companion, and you must show respect, understanding, and wisdom to my advisors. Only then can the path forward be clear." Ethan felt a mixture of excitement and nerves. He had faced creatures, hazards, and complex puzzles, but now he faced something different: social diplomacy, trust, and perception. Every word, every gesture would count. As they entered the council chamber, a grand hall of glowing crystal and intricate architecture, Ethan noticed dozens of Xerian advisors observing him quietly. Their eyes were sharp and analytical. Murmurs ran through the crowd as Liara guided him to stand beside her. "Esteemed advisors," Liara began, her voice steady and commanding, "I present Ethan, a human who has proven his courage, intelligence, and empathy. He has acted with integrity in challenges none could have imagined. I have chosen him as my companion, not for titles or power, but for the strength of his heart and character." The room fell silent, the advisors exchanging glances. Some looked skeptical, others curious. Ethan bowed slightly, showing respect to the council. His voice, calm but confident, carried across the chamber. "I am honored to be here," he said. "I do not seek privilege, only the chance to support Princess Liara and her people. I will listen, learn, and act with honesty. My intentions are clear: to be a trustworthy ally, and to help protect and grow this world alongside her." Liara watched him carefully, noting how he spoke with humility and sincerity. The advisors murmured quietly among themselves, some nodding subtly, others frowning, but none dismissing him outright. His words, combined with his actions from the previous days, had begun to create a ripple of respect. One of the senior advisors, an elder with crystalline skin that reflected the chamber lights, stepped forward. "You speak well, human," he said. "Words alone are not enough. Your deeds must continue to prove your heart. Will you remain steadfast if challenges increase? Will you act for the people, not just for the princess?" Ethan straightened. "I will," he said firmly. "I understand the responsibility and I accept it fully." The elder nodded slowly, a faint smile forming. The tension in the room eased slightly. Liara's eyes sparkled with a mixture of pride and relief. Ethan had passed the first social challenge, showing he could respect her people and their traditions while remaining true to himself. After the council meeting, Liara led Ethan back to the palace gardens. The twin moons had risen, casting soft silver light across the crystalline towers and glowing flora. The gardens were quiet, serene, and beautiful, a perfect contrast to the formalities of the council chamber. "You did well," Liara said, her voice softer now, almost playful. "The council may not fully accept you yet, but they have begun to see your worth. You spoke with honesty and they cannot ignore that." Ethan exhaled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "Thank you, Liara. I hope I can continue to earn their trust and yours." Liara stepped closer, her hand brushing lightly against his. "You have already earned mine," she said. "Your heart is true, your intentions clear. But trust is not a single act, it is a path, one we walk together. You must continue to show your strength, your empathy, and your courage every day." Ethan looked into her eyes, feeling a connection that went beyond words. "I will," he promised. "Whatever comes, I will stand by you. I will face every challenge, not because I am forced to, but because I want to be worthy of your trust and care." Liara smiled, a gentle radiance that seemed to light up the entire garden. "Then let us begin this journey, human, together." Over the next days, Ethan continued to prove himself. He worked alongside Liara and her people, learning their culture, assisting in daily tasks, and solving problems with intelligence and care. Every action he took reinforced what she had already seen. Humans could possess qualities that even advanced alien civilizations admired: courage, empathy, and an unwavering desire to do what is right. One evening, as the twin suns set in brilliant hues of gold and purple, Liara took Ethan to the palace balcony. The city below glowed softly, alive with energy and light. The people moved about their routines, unaware of the quiet moment shared above them. "You have changed many perceptions here," Liara said quietly, "not just through your actions but through who you are. Courage, kindness, and respect, qualities my people rarely see in outsiders. You have proven that humans can be remarkable." Ethan felt warmth in his chest. "I never expected to be accepted so quickly," he admitted. "But I want to do more. I want to help, to protect, and to learn everything I can to be worthy of your world. And of you." Liara regarded him for a long moment. Then softly she placed her hand in his. "Ethan, you have already shown your worth. Your heart, your courage, your actions, they speak louder than any words. I choose you, not because of your strength alone, but because of who you are." Ethan's eyes widened, a mixture of relief and joy flooding him. You mean it?" he whispered. Liara nodded, her smile radiant. "Yes, I choose you." For the first time, Ethan felt the full weight of possibility. A human, standing beside an alien princess, accepted for who he was, not merely tolerated or observed. He realized that courage, empathy, and honesty were truly universal qualities, ones that could bridge worlds and unite even the most different beings. The twin moons rose higher, casting silver light across the palace gardens and the city. Ethan and Liara stood together, their hands intertwined, looking out over the glowing towers and streets. The night was filled with quiet energy, a promise of challenges ahead, but also of hope, partnership, and connection. "You have taught me much about humans," Liara said softly. "Not just your strength, but your heart. I see now why your kind can be extraordinary." Ethan smiled, feeling pride and humility. "And you have shown me that understanding, respect, and courage are universal values," he replied. "Together we can face whatever comes, and I hope we can continue this journey side by side." Liara squeezed his hand gently. "Yes, side by side." As they stood there, the stars twinkling above, Ethan realized something profound. Humanity's true strength was not just in exploration, invention, or courage. It was in the ability to connect, to understand, and to act with empathy. Those qualities had earned him trust, acceptance, and now, a bond that transcended worlds. The night ended with a quiet sense of certainty. Ethan and Liara had begun a partnership built on trust, respect, and mutual admiration. Their bond was a symbol of the power of courage, honesty, and compassion, proof that humans could rise to extraordinary heights when guided by heart and principle. And somewhere, across the glowing gardens and towers of Xiria, the people began to notice not just a human standing beside a princess, but the promise of something new: unity, understanding, and the extraordinary potential of a human heart. The journey had only just begun, but for Ethan and Layara, the future was bright, filled with possibilities, challenges, and the quiet certainty of a bond that neither time nor distance could break.